Hello everyone on YouTube, this is Lewis and Trans, aka LM25, aka Lewis JM, and as pretty much all you know by my cap and attire, WrestleMania is going to be in about over a week, and there's like a lot of exciting matches that I'm excited to see. Of course, some good ones, like Triple H versus Sting, that's a big one, that's a dream match waiting to happen. John Cena versus Rusev, Seth Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. That's a great one, but there is one match in particular I just want to discuss to you about, and it's something that's been bothering me for the past 2 months, maybe. Um, and match is somewhat cold. Is from is a matchup between the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. Now I know everyone's pretty much excited, the Undertaker, coming back, he's gonna fight another wrestler, but I think this match shouldn't even exist to begin with. No, I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna be bashing me on comments and all that, but I have a reason for this. And the reason is this. Because when people watch WrestleMania, they focus solely on the streak. Seriously though, the streak is a big deal at WrestleMania because Undertaker defends it on a yearly basis, and that's the one streak that cannot even be duplicated or competed. And think of the many wrestlers and Hall of Famers that battled to beat the streak. You got people like Ric Flair, you got Big Show, you got CM Punk, John Gonzalez, even though that was pretty much a gimmick match, but still, it's a long list of combatants, Big Boss Man and all. Hell, Shawn Michaels fought The Undertaker twice at WrestleMania. Triple H fought The Undertaker 3 times. Kane twice. It's like a big time match that people want to go gunning for. That's what it's supposed to be about for WrestleMania. Until last year's WrestleMania, which when I stated on a previous post that The Undertaker was beaten and the streak was broken by, of all people, Brock Lesnar. Yeah, that's pretty much a big deal now. Brock Lesnar defeating The Undertaker and beating the streak, conquering the streak. And I think that was stupid in its own right because A, Brock Lesnar no one, not even Brock Lesnar, shouldn't defeat the streak. And B, Undertaker wasn't 100% physically ready to compete. You could tell, seriously, watch WrestleMania 30 at the WWE Network for only $9.99, cheap pop there, and you know why that shouldn't even happen. And now this year, they're bringing The Undertaker back to compete against Bray Wyatt. I have an issue with that one in itself, and Undertaker, he shouldn't be competing this year. Hell, he should have just retired after last year for all I care. Should have been inducted to the Hall of Fame like Randy Savage or the Bushwhackers or all the other big time legends. Now it's a whole, but no, instead they want to push him into the match to begin with. Because of Bray Wyatt being that he's so-called the new face of fear, and I think the WWE is trying to make him the new phenom because he brings a whole new meaning to the words psychological warfare. Still, it's kind of dumb, and I usually blame the rise in this because let's face it, WWE is pretty much soap opera based, but it has actual wrestling imprint into it, and it's actual real life wrestling. People could get hurt on this whole thing. And that, because from what I can understand, that they were planning to put Undertaker in WrestleMania 31 against Sting, and and okay, I can understand. I mean, two old school veterans compete fighting against each other because of the both dark and all. But but when you have two main writers, which is Vince and Triple H, that wouldn't come to pass. So instead, we have Sting versus Triple H because Sting was pretty much vigilante and Triple H is pretty much a dominant authority figure. And we have Undertaker and Bray Wyatt because as dark Brazilian face of fear bullshit. If they want to set up a match like this for WrestleMania, they should have done it differently. Like, here's a good example from a good friend of mine, Pete, which he's excited for WrestleMania as well, because this was in his head. This was his idea. See, at the Royal Rumble, in that triple threat match between Brock, Cena, and Rollins for the WWE Championship, Brock would win it, of course, which he did, of course, and he would have been minorly injured, with a broken rib from the announce table and all that bullshit. But it would have happened differently. Say, for example, he defeated those two companions. Brock did, and he was excited. He was about to leave, and the next thing you know, the gong, lights turn off, the gong again, lights turn back on. Undertaker's facing him, and before you know it, chaos ensues. Undertaker beats the living shit out of Brock Lesnar because of the broken streak. He would give him a choke slam, a last ride, a tombstone, and then he disappears in the darkness gong bit. And before you know it, Seth Rollins would cash in the Money in the Bank, pin Brock Lesnar, and win the title. And then at Fastlane, there would have been a rematch, which would have been, I'm trying to think of something here, a last man standing, or perhaps Hell in a Cell, or maybe they would have brought back the Elimination Chamber to begin with, but they got rid of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to make a way for Fastlane. But whatever the case, Undertaker get involved again and beat up Brock Lesnar again, which makes Seth Rollins the winner, or any other superstar, because let's face it, Seth Rollins a dick. And the following Monday, Brock would demand that he would get to Undertaker would demand a rematch against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. That would have been an exciting bout. That after last year's WrestleMania, that this year's WrestleMania, that Undertaker would get his redemption and come back unswinging, getting his revenge on the man who conquered the Undertaker's undefeated streak, who was the one in 21-1. That would have been an exciting match. That would have got people talking. That would have been impressive. But we won't get that match. Instead, Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, right, for no goddamn reason other than for Bray Wyatt to prove that he's the new face of fear, and beat up the Undertaker so he can become the new Phenom. By the time I think of this, I think Bray Wyatt does have a point, and that he is somewhat Mark the new Phenom. I mean, I know the Hawaiian shirt and the Bray hat, fedora hat that he wears is kind of weird looking, but walking down the ring with a lantern, you have the whole whirl of cell phone lights marking the fireflies. It's kind of an ominous to the point where he could be the new Phenom, at least in my opinion. I'm not following the buzz or anything serious. I'm just having my own thoughts here. Hell, he would have become the new streak keeper too, because, well, let's face it, Undertaker has his streak. Bray would have had his own, but of course, being in his debut, he got beaten by John Cena, so that's out of the window. But to have him compete against the Undertaker, it feels like the writers are phoning it in, and to to be honest, I think that match no one will be talking about in a long time, and I feel like that they fucked it up in a big way. Now, as far as predictions go, I'll go on with the Undertaker Bray prediction, but I want to go with the other predictions because normally I usually have music in the background, and I give my predictions in text. But since it's gonna be over a week away, I'm gonna have to make this brief. So, predictions for AJ Lee Page versus the Bellas. It could be obvious that it could be AJ and Page. But though I kind of find it kind of interesting to see the Bellas beating it and Brie getting her revenge because let's face it, she had a vendetta against Nikki after what happened at SummerSlam. But after Survivor Series, after the 1 month of being the servant, and they suddenly are together, that's a bit strange on my own predictions. But I'm pretty sure that Brie's buying her time, and that at WrestleMania, she would attack her sister, and as a bonus match, it would be a Divas Championship match too. That would have been interesting. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match, it's a bit of a reach to me, but I'm going for either Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan, because those two could be could be big bets, and I would like to see one of them holding the gold instead of Bad News Barrett. The Andre the Giant Battle Memorial, which I find surprising because I thought it was just gonna be a one-time deal. Now it's a year. Now suddenly a yearly thing. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna go for those of big stature, either whether it be Big Show, Mark Henry, or Ryback. Now, but of course, I was going for Big Show last year until Cesaro kind of shocked me to a point of no return, and that's somewhat interesting in my account. For John Cena versus Rusev for the United States Championship, it's obvious that John Cena will beat Rusev, because Rusev spent an entire year being undefeated with a few exceptions on the Survivor Series and that with the exception of Survivor Series. And I'd like to see him get pinned or submit to the man that headlined WrestleManias for the past like what 10 years, mind you. And I'd like to see John Cena be the U.S. champion, teach Rusev a lesson to not mess with the U.S. For the WWE Championship between Brock Lesnar and Reigns, it is a strong bet that Reigns is going to beat him because, well, let's face it, Brock Lesnar being the champion, yet he doesn't come into the shows every day as any respected champion would. I feel as though it could be Reigns' time to be the champion from the start. And I know some people could be upset that, oh no, Daniel Bryan should have won the Royal Rumble. He would have been headlining WrestleMania. He would have beaten Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Look, I can understand people are upset about that. But let's face it, Reigns does have the courage to do what cannot be done, to stop Brock's big time rage streak again and win it. That's a big deal. But if Reigns wins, and even though he could be beaten, you gotta find that it's gonna be obvious that Seth Rollins will cash in the Money in the Bank and be the new champion, which not my idea for fun. And speaking of Reigns and Orton, it would be obvious. It could be a debate whether it could be Orton or Rollins, but let's see if the Viper can beat him and shut his mouth. Though I kind of find out that with the Authority involved, it could be Rollins taking the win. And for Sting and Triple H, after the incident in Survivor Series being the vigilante, Sting will beat Triple H and he will teach and he will show that the WWE is about the people, not the authority. So, and now, which leads me to Undertaker versus Bray. Now, normally I usually say that Undertaker would beat an opponent because it is the streak after all. But to be honest, I'm doubting myself after last year. I'm a little concerned if The Undertaker is going to be 100%, because let's face it, he wasn't 100% at last year's WrestleMania. Is there any chance that he's going to be 100% this year? And of course, there is the issue of what's going to happen in the match. Is there going to be a stipulation? It doesn't look like it's going to be a casket match, I say, because Bray would be rolling out the casket. I find I find that highly unlikely, but still, if that was going to be a match like that, maybe it would be Undertaker's win, and Bray would finally shut up. Now, I did brag on about this match because, well, let's face it, I've heard about this match in the Inquisitor months before it was announced, and I'm pretty sure mostly the WWE universe, listening to Bray's little vignettes, it does have its. I mean, it's obvious who he's talking about, but face facts, Undertaker Bray, not a good match. It won't work. I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with me that. Pretty sure people like Pete, my cousin Robert, or even Limp Bizkit 3030 could agree that this match shouldn't even exist, let alone on having Taker compete again. But this is my opinion. What is your opinion? Just leave a comment down below, or send me a video response, or give me a like, whatever you say. Because let's face it, of all the matches, Undertaker Bray, yeah, that won't even exist. That won't exist. Period. Should have existed to begin with. Ugh. For crying out loud, these people, why they even bother? Anyways, this is Lewis Trans. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this match, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys later.